Hi, this is Amber. Welcome to Teaching with Google Classroom. We're going to start off with just creating our class first. So let's get to Classroom. It's the same way you used to get to this class, but you're going to go up to the Rubik's Cube or waffle icon, and you're going to choose Classroom. Once you've chosen Classroom, you'll notice the plus sign at the very top. If you're a student, the only thing you're going to see is Join Class, but because you're in the teacher group, you're going to see Join Class and Create Class. So let's go ahead and create a class. Once the Create Class box appears, you'll want to give your class a name. That's the only required field, but it's a very important one. You'll want to differentiate this class from others. So if you teach multiple periods of the same class, you'll have to figure out a way to make these different from one another. What I'm going to do is I like to put, if it's a year-long class, I like to put the year in it. So I'm going to do 2020, 2021, Miss Garvey's class. Now, if you teach Algebra 1, first period, Algebra 2, second period, there's also a field where you can put section. This is where it's helpful to put things like first period, second period, or fall semester, spring semester. There's also a subject field, and if you start typing something into the subject field, it will give you some options to choose from. That's just totally up to you. And room number may be helpful if you are teaching a class and you want to include that room number in there, but that's definitely something that's optional. So once you've filled in the required field and any of these additional fields that you feel are important to you, you can click Create. Now in the background, what Google is doing is creating a Google Drive folder for you and also a Google Calendar specific to your class. Additionally, it's creating a Google Meet just for this class. Now Google tries to figure out, based on the name of your class, a picture that might be appropriate to go with your class. That's a very important thing, and for many it's very personal, so I do want to kind of walk you through how to customize your class. So on the top where you see Select Theme or Upload Photo, this is where you choose the picture that's going to go on this cover page or the stream. So you can choose Select Theme. There's several different theme categories across the top. If you see one that works for you, all you have to do is choose it and click Select Class Theme. You'll notice that the class theme and the color scheme may change based on the main color that's in your theme. You also have the option to upload a photo. I do want to let you know that the photo dimensions for the header at the top of Google Classroom are very specific. If you don't know how to make an image in that specific size, you may want to stick to using the themes. Now I'm going to walk you through a few things about your class before we go into details. You'll notice at the top left corner, you'll see the name of your class that you just created. Next to it, you'll see the hamburger icon. If you click on the hamburger icon, you'll see the Classes button, which gets you back to your main screen where all your class cards are that you're either in or that you teach. You'll also see a calendar screen that will take you to a calendar that will show you your classes. There's also a to-do list, which we'll talk about soon, and shortcuts to get to your classes so that you don't always have to go to the classes page. You'll also see a teaching section for those you teach and an enrolled section for those in which you are enrolled. I'm going to go back to my class. At the top, you will see there are 4 tabs. The Stream tab is the home page. That's where you're going to place announcements, where your students will get the class code or the Google Meet link, and it's also a place where anything that's coming up due will be posted. The Classwork tab is where you're going to do the majority of your work. This is where you as a teacher post assignments for your students. The People tab is where you're going to focus on adding other teachers or other students to your class. We'll go over this in more detail later. The Grades tab is where you will find your assignments and your students in a table so that you can see kind of a grade book of your class. On the top right hand corner of your class, you'll see a gear. This is where we will go over classroom settings. But for now, at least you have a little bit of an idea of the interface. You've named your class, you've created your class, and so now we're going to dig in and really get started with how to use this class effectively.